Hello everyone, it's Dragana from Saacibo. I had a really busy weekend. I've been crafting non-stop for 2 days straight and I loved it. I managed to complete the journal I started a while ago and it turned out so cute. I'm not sure what to call it, but it's kind of romantic and it's in pastel pinks and beiges. It's just so pretty. Let's have a look. Here we go. It's got that shabby chic look to it. Some pink roses, and I added some of my altered buttons as a closure with a little cluster, and it's got 5 signatures. It's actually really big, a bit heavy, so there's some ribbon there. I stitched all around. I put little corner protectors, and again I used digitals from my Forest Whispers kit, the roses and these background papers, but the rest is more or less just junk and some scrapbooking paper and other bits and pieces, as you will see. So the size, it is 14.5 centimeters or 5 3/4 of an inch, or 7 3/4 inches by 20 centimeters, and the spine, it's 5 centimeters or 2 inches. This fabric is like a soft jersey cotton, a bit stretchy, but I actually really liked this effect. On one end it had this, I don't know if you can see, and I just thought it looked so nice. I had to put it on this journal. Alright, let's have a look. These images come from a scrapbooking paper that I bought recently. I was surprised to actually find it. It's actually really hard to find nice scrapbooking paper where I live. Up until a few months ago you couldn't even get it, but now they started importing some really cute ones and I could not resist. I had to buy, and I turned it into a little picture, added some tea-stained cheesecloth and some flowers that I actually left unglued all the way on purpose, just to have that sort of 3D effect. Alright, now here we have some tags. In those pockets, and some of the specimen cards. The theme is, I could say, floral, summery, shabby chic, but also with a botanical feel. And we have some music sheet and a doily, and I stitched this lace butterfly over it. Can be used as a tuck spot, but I wouldn't put anything heavy in it because it might actually damage this doily. It's really delicate, so like a lot of my journals, they are kind of delicate and they need to be handled with care. We have some book pages and tea-stained paper and some old notebook papers. Here I created a little pocket from junk mail envelope, as you can see, with matching papers. Did a little cluster here, and I used book pages to create the back, and just a little tag, could be anything else, but I thought I'll put it there. With that pink and that pink, it all ties together. And here's a little charm that I made with a butterfly stitched all around, and it says here, be kind to yourself. I think we all need to be kinder to ourselves. It has this pin that can be attached anyway. Alright, keep going, more writing space. I try to mix different papers, so if I have a plain tea stain paper, then I'd have a paper from a notebook, so that there's a variety of papers, but they never repeat. So again, tea stained paper. This one is actually sprayed with the fabric spray paint as it was drying. I think I've used it in some of my other journals, and the effect is actually really nice. You get this really lovely colors, and plus there's a bit of shimmer. I don't know if it's visible on the recording, but in real life there's almost like a silvery effect over the paper, and because it turned out so nice, I think it deserved the middle spread. Okay, now we come to the other side again, those papers for writing. And over here what we have is my handmade paper. Now these handmade papers that I make are that size, so if I do this and try and put it in the actual signature, because they're delicate, they might actually break, and besides you don't get the full use of the page if you do it like that. So I figured out a way to include the full page by gluing that bit to say another page, and I did this on purpose, put a bit of ink just to get that effect. So that's another way of extending the page, because this paper, I'll just show you quickly, this one comes from a notebook that is a bit that wide. So when I fold here to have the full use of this, I end up with a strip here, and I thought that was just really working for me. I could just, glue this paper and have that page there. So that would be it, and I've done the same thing in each signature, so there will be 5 pages like this in this journal. This book page comes from a book called Dorian Gray. It's actually in Bosnian, so you can draw there or glue pictures. I just thought it was interesting to have something like that there. Alright, again we have that music sheet with a doily and some lace, and a little crochet piece that my mother-in-law actually made ages ago. It's one of the ways I honor her memory, by using her crochet pieces. She was just so talented, and she's done so many of these, and I think they should be shared with the rest of the world. I have so many, and they're just sitting in my storage somewhere. This way a lot of people get to see her work, I think. Alright, I have some herbal cards here from my herbal collection. We have Canetia, and I don't know what this plant is, and I wouldn't dare pronouncing in Latin, I wouldn't know how to. And some of the flowers from my garden that I've dried and I laminated last year. We have those pockets again. This scrapbooking paper has white on the other side, so it's not double-sided, but I actually stained it, but not with tea or coffee or anything like that. I just used regular ink that I diluted with some water, and I just use a little sponge and I just quickly just brushed over it, and then I placed the stencil and let it dry, so it created this effect over here as well. And I just really like the color. It almost looks like the walls from these old buildings that you see in the pictures, for instance in Venice or something like that. Just, I really like it. I like how it turned out. Okay, here we have a tag that I created from that Forest Whispers digital kit, and I added a bit of bling here, and I did some stitching and stenciling and added a bit of lace and another one of my altered buttons. It's a big tag, and I think it looks pretty in here. I try to match the colors like with pink, beige and a bit of green and also white, so everything is coordinated in that way so that it has a bit of a theme going on, you know. Sometimes I make journals that are really, you know, anything goes, but other times I like them to be specific theme or color, so that there's a flow or harmony of colors. I don't know how to explain. Hope you know what I mean. Okay, here we have a postcard from the digital kit. So they can be mailed. If you decide to send someone a postcard, you can. It's printed on a 350 GSM card, so they can be mailed. This vellum paper comes from an old photo album that I bought years and years ago, and I never used it. It stayed empty, so now I'm using the papers from that album for my projects. You see, I knew it was going to be useful one day. And then this effect is when you tea-dyed papers, you just place your stencils that you have and let it dry like that, and I think the pigment collects in those little places, the stencil, so they actually create effects like that. It's really cute. Again, another one of the junk mail envelope pockets, a bit of doily and a tag, a pretty picture of a rose. Okay, so I try to put pockets on thicker paper. This paper also comes from that photo album I was talking about earlier. This is the page that was supposed to hold photos, so it's quite thick, and I stained it with that ink solution. It looks really nice. It did soak a lot of ink, and I thought, oh my god, it's totally like saturated, but once it's dried it turned out really strong. Some ledger papers, more writing, and again for the middle spread I used some of that special paper that I made. Now I've sort of used them all. I have to make a new batch. Perhaps I could do a tutorial on how I achieve this, but I'll see. If I can, I will. And here we come to that handmade paper. Again, that was attached to this. Here we have a little tag and a belly band with some crochet pieces and a lace flower. Okay, now we come to the middle signature. Now the first one is dusty pink and then green, and now we have here another pink with this lovely paper that was in this pack that I bought recently, and I made a little cluster and I thought it would look good there. Created side pockets for this signature cover, another postcard from my original kit. Now this is actually wrapping paper, you know, the one that you buy in a big roll. But what I did to grunge it up a little bit, I actually painted it with that ink solution like I did the paper, and it turned out really nice, and it's got that waxy feel to it. It's kind of glossy, but not really. I just really like it. I might actually use more of it in the future, but it's got nice design actually. Alright. More music sheets, a vellum, and some tea stained paper again, book pages. Over here I used A5 size envelope that I cut in half and created a pocket. I lined it up with, it was one of the yellow ones, I don't know if you can see, lined it up with some book pages, and I put a little postcard of butterflies here. And these cards come from my other digital kit called Dream Diary, I think. And here we have again more of the writing pages or drawing pages. I suppose you can glue pictures as long as they're not too heavy to weigh on the paper. And here we have a little belly band and a cute little tag with a key, and I actually put a real key, like bronze charm key on it. I thought that looks really cute there. Here again we have some of that handmade paper with some flower petals and leaves inside. Book pages. And over here I made an envelope. This is like a writing spot, and I just put a few little bits and pieces that can be used throughout the journal, like this die cut heart, some little doily made from handmade paper, some stickers of flowers. Like I could have glued them down, but I thought whoever buys this journal, they might want to do it themselves and add little bits and pieces, because this is just something to get you started. More flowers and some of those like sticker stamps and things. In here, how lovely is that? A little girl with a bird. I think that's really cute. I really love these papers. I'm almost out of it. I might have to visit that shop and see if they have more so that I can make more journals like this. I love it. There's a little cluster here. I think that pink, it just ties in with the pink theme over here. Little details like that, like if you see this color and that color quite similar, so little details like that, if you use them throughout the journal, they help the whole journal look like one art piece sort of thing. I know they say you're not supposed to overthink it, but I overthink it. Otherwise I end up with a big mess that I'm not happy with, so it has to have that flow kind of thing. Another doily, some music sheet. Again, this is like a tea stained paper that I placed a stencil on top, and the stencil had these kind of like old ad stickers and things, and it's just really easy way to transfer stencils onto the paper. More of that spray, golden spray paint. I think that looks really nice when it's next to this page. It's also really important, even if the pages look like they're, you know, different collection, you still have to, when you put them together in a signature, you have to go by eye what goes with what. It's like, you know, this one might look better next to that one than next to that one. You know, I don't know, just I move them around until I get them how I think they look good, kind of thing. We've got a little tag. I put a bit of bling here on the butterfly wings. I like to stitch around all my tags because I mainly use glue stick for the tags, so the edges might eventually start peeling off, and that's why I like to stitch around, you know. They're just more durable like that, but you know, little things like that, they're meant to stay like that, you know, give it a bit of a 3D effect, and can be used as a tuck spot as well. When I put little lace or fabric flowers to the paper, I don't have any of that fabric fix, but I use hot glue gun. It's quite good and it does the job. Okay. Finding the right glue is actually really difficult. Another one of those papers that I had to put in the middle. It's just so beautiful. Imagine writing a poem with a nice pen here or something like that, or even doing a line drawing over it. It would be so nice, and that I wonder if I'll be able to do again the same effect, but just in case, I scanned all of the papers in for myself to print them out, although the printed versions wouldn't be this shimmery. Here we have one of those hidden paper clips. I used two tags that were the same size, and I put a paper clip on the inside, and there's a tag here and tag there, and I joined them. So it says here Inspire and here Create. This is also from that Forest Whispers kit. So in this journal I used, you know, pages from different sources, but for the ephemera, most of it I used that digital kit, and yeah, and some of the papers from that scrapbooking collection that I mentioned earlier. Again, we have that handmade paper. There's a little belly band, some writing paper, and a pretty picture, can be glued anywhere. The journal. Again, one of the doilies that my late mother-in-law created. I love these. This was she gave this to me as a wedding gift years ago, and they're just so lovely, and I've been cutting out pieces and using in my journal, because this was done with such a thin thread. She must have had a good eyesight when she did that, and it's just so pretty, I think, anyway. Alright, now here again, that effect with ink, I just loved it. Look how when I place the stencil on top of the wet page, the color or pigment collected in those crevices and created almost like a line drawing. It's just so, I was just so amazed. How beautiful that turned out. Alright, more of the label cards. I picked the one that matches the color, green and pink. Here we have again one of those altered junk mail envelopes. Another little tag. It says "Love is precious," and a picture of a rose on this side. And here we have a tag that I made from handmade paper that I stenciled on top and put some gold paint in the flower centers, and I backed it up onto some cardstock. Put a little eyelet and some of that fabric. Again, pink theme throughout. Gorgeous paper. This one was sprayed with gold fabric paint. Handmade paper. I think this one was dyed with avocado pits, that's why it's a bit pink. Again, some herbal cards with pink flowers, and green, and over here a little tag, and we come to the end. There's a flower made out of handmade paper, some lace flowers. I think this is a tuck here. I reserved it for a picture, I think, or for my certificate of authenticity. So that would be my Shabby Chic Romantic Journal. I absolutely love it. It is quite big. I could have put all the ephemera out and store separately, but you know, I tend to put tags and pictures in the way I think they would look good in the journal, but obviously they can be taken out and moved and rearranged, apart from pockets of course, but most of the other things can be placed elsewhere or even used in another journal. So, oh, I didn't count the pages. Let's do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 11 times 4 and then times 5. So in each signature there is 11 sheets of paper for 44 pages, and there's 5 signatures of 44 pages. So there you go. And I created a little drawstring bag for the journal. Lovely beige colors. This is a bit bigger journal than I normally do, so it has to go into a bigger box. And over here we have a coupon, a thank you card, and a certificate of authenticity. So that will be it. I'll leave the links in the description box below to all my digital kits and to the journal in my Etsy shop in case you're interested. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye for now.
waiting for love to be realized. I'll send her my heart.